I'm Jeff Gould, America's storyteller. I use stories to help people find the heart or story that they want to live and then live that and then finally share that. And stories are the most effective way to do that. It's just not entertainment only, it is a pivotal way to change lives for the better. So, this works for businesses as well. So let me tell you right now about the business motivator that never works. Let's go to the story map. All righty. This is super counterintuitive, but the more I talk, the more you'll go, he's right. Okay. This is my sigmoid curve. I've done this before, right? This is where businesses start and they're trying to seek their path. We got to get this business off the ground. What is it that we do better than anything else? And I'll call this the heart of the story. What do we do that is what is the genesis of the company? And then we train or teach that to the people who come on board. And the better we do of sharing the heart of the story, the more they're on board, the more engaged they become. And then we start to organize to that story. We're telling them all day long, people onboarding, remember, this is what we do. Remember, this is what we do. Remember, this is what we do. This is harder to do than you think. But if you do a really good job, this not just translates to your team, it translates out into the world until you get followers, just people on the street who know and love your story so much that they actually put a tattoo on their arm. You want an example? Harley Davidson. Okay. Now, eventually, the market reacts. And when the market reacts, you're under a lot of pressure. And this is probably what is the death knell for most companies. When the market reacts, they yield the field. They just say, okay, so long, here you go. Companies can be eternal, right? However, companies are living shorter and shorter lifespans, right? They used to live, you can look it up. I've been astonished. They're usually less than 10 years. Wow, interesting. Now, why is that? Well, let's talk about this right here. The heart of the story. This is the business motivator that never works. Money. If you want a business for profit and for money, and you say, well, of course, that's what it's for. Okay, listen to me. And here, I'm going to prove to you why it is the death knell to make money and profits the heart of your business. Okay, let's look at the history of business as we know it. Businesses have not been around too terribly long. And we're talking about the Industrial Revolution, when finally they figure out how we can make things and we need people, and these big machines needed parts. And then they would say, well, it's kind of like people are parts. We can plug in people. And when the people wear out, we can plug in more people. When the parts wear out, we can plug in more parts. And this is the way everybody saw it, and everybody was okay with that. Now, in the late 1800s, they started having what were called efficiency experts. And efficiency experts were saying, well, now wait a minute. If this guy is standing over here and he's got to go to this box to get parts over here, why does he have to walk this far? Can't we shorten this distance? Can't we make this more efficient? They discovered something really interesting when they started observing people. The people who were observed started to work harder. And then they started asking themselves, why? Why are they working harder when we're watching them work? And then we started to realize that people were not parts, they were people. And since then, we noticed this really sad statistic. You've probably seen it in your workplace. Hopefully not yours, but others. 85% of people who work don't really care. They are like literal beasts of burdens. They're walking from here to here, carrying that burden. They're checked out. They're not really engaged. And so they thought, well, let me think about this. What if we can make them engaged. And so we see things like, oh, company mottos, slogans, these kinds of things. At the end of the day, what you're trying to train to your team is the heart of the story. Listen, this is the calling of our story. And if you do it where your average accountant or business school person would say, we talk about money, you have told your people that you don't care about them because the heart of your story is the money, right? Think about that. If the heart of your story is money, then you're going to look for a cheaper employee. You're going to look for a cheaper part. You're going to look for a cheaper supplier. And when that happens, now your employees say, well, it's just a matter of time. And what's interesting is when that is the heart of your story, that's the heart of their story. Well, if he cares about money, well, then I do too. And I want a raise. And I want more vacation time. And I want more material things, right? So this becomes this closed loop that gets crazy. And so although the purpose of a business is, after all, making a profit, it can't be the heart of your story. And people will say, Jeff Gould, you're a nutcase. How am I supposed to make money if I don't care about money? And I will say, look at that 85% rule. If you can get the 85% of people who don't care to be 85% of people who do care, now you don't have to worry about the money because the money will take care of itself. And businesses that have that good culture will say, the good heart of the story, they have proven it over and over again. If you want to change the heart of your company story, it's fairly simple to do. It's not easy, but it is simple. And then all you have to do is train to that. And all you have to do is lead to that. Again, simple enough, but it does require a little bit of help. This is why I do keynote addresses and why I do workshops and why I do year-long side-by-side enacting of this most important story acronym. Remember, we are seeking, we're training our teams, we're organizing to the story, and then we are reacting to the inevitable pushback that the market gives us. And then finally, we get to decide. We get to decide when we are done. All right. I'm Jeff Gould, America's Storyteller. Remember, in business especially, find your story, live your story, and share your story. Until we talk, God bless.